Welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm Nina. This is the Red Elevator. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For the new members, Red Elevator is named after the elevator that lives in my home, which happens to be red. So that's where that comes from. Today, I'm walking you through the design trends shaping 2026, but not in the way that you usually hear them discussed. These aren't just fast trends. These are signals, shifts in how people want to live, invest, and feel in their homes. By the way, the final trend is the one that has been quietly growing for years, and I predicted this, not just in interiors, but in fashion, lifestyle, and even how we define luxury itself. So make sure you stay till the very end because you're not going to want to miss that. And it's really the reason certain spaces felt instantly timeless, while others already felt dated. Okay, trend number one, heritage furniture. One of the biggest shifts I'm seeing in 2026 is a renewed appreciation for heritage furniture, specifically formed case goods. Think beautifully proportioned cabinets, armoires, sideboards, credenzas, dressers that feel architectural in presence. What I love about this trend is that it's not nostalgic for nostalgia's sake. It's about formality, returning with intention. These pieces ground a space. They add visual weight and permanence in a world of open plans and floating furniture everywhere. Heritage case goods essentially give the eye something to rest on. From a luxury design perspective, this is also about buying fewer but better pieces. Clients are no longer asking, what fills this wall? What should I put here? What do I do there? Which becomes overly saturated. They're asking what deserves to live here for the next 20 years. And this is also true in fashion. We are seeing a lot of edited pieces that people are holding on to rather than fast fashion and just hoarding everything and then creating a lot of junk around you. You're gonna see a lot of cleaner silhouettes rather than traditional antiques, but the craftsmanship is the star. Solid woods, real joinery, thoughtful proportions, pieces that feel inherited even when they're brand new. Now, before we get into the next trend, if you enjoy this level of insight and want more designer level breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed. A lot of you think you are, but you actually aren't. So if you could do a little check and subscribe, that would mean a great deal to us and the entire team. All right, trend number two, animal prints. So animal print is one of those things that never truly disappear. And we are glad about that because we love animals. But in 26, it's evolving in a way that feels much more elevated and intentional. Let me explain. So coming off the heels of my safari, I have really been interested in animal prints. And we've been seeing it steadily in fashion. Again, we've seen it in sort of leopard and zebra and python, certainly in, midi skirts and purses and things of that nature. But they're styled in a way that's quieter and more refined. And it's the same thing that is still happening in interiors. So this is not about loud novelty moments or big prints and patterns. It's about using animal prints as a neutral, subtly, and it can really add beauty into your space. So for example, a leopard print rug in a very restrained color palette is a great idea. A zebra upholstered bench paired with classical architecture. A subtle animal motif woven into textile rather than printed, boldly on top is what I'm talking about. What I love about animal print and luxury interiors is that it adds a sense of confidence. It signals that the space isn't trying too hard to be trendy. It feels collected, layered, and slightly irreverent in the best way. And used sparingly, animal print brings warmth, movement, and personality without overpowering the room. As homes become more layered and expressive, we're seeing a move away from strict minimalism, not towards clutter, but towards character. That brings us to one of my favorite trends for 26. Whimsy accents. This is so playful and so sophisticated and so part of my I would say, aura or raison d'être. And whimsy is luckily coming back. It's returning, not in a juvenile way. This feels closer to Art Nouveau, energy where design and expressive decorative style are told. And we're seeing this through curved ironwork, sculptural lighting, playful motifs, and unexpected color combinations. So soft greens, muted corals, inky blues, all used with restraint. And what I love about whimsy accents is that they remind us that luxury doesn't have to be serious all the time in order to be refined. So a hand-forged iron detail on a stair railing is so gorgeous. A lamp with an organic sort of almost floral base, wallpaper with subtle rhythmic pattern that feels alive rather than static. It just excites me to no end. And these moments really create emotional connection. They make a home feel personal and sort of not staged or catalog-like. And number 4, another favorite of mine, trims and details. A design becomes much more intentional when details are no longer optional. So in 26, trim is the flex. I am going to flex because I've always talked about adding trim, adding piping on upholstery, contrast edging on drapery, hand-finished seams, tailored cushions that almost look like couture. It's just gorgeousness everywhere. And this mirrors what's happening in fashion as well. People are noticing construction again, the stitching, the lining, the way something is finished. In interiors, trim elevates even the simplest fabric. So a plain linen sofa becomes extraordinary with a perfectly chosen piping. A neutral chair gains depth through contrast detailing. And in my home, you will notice that I have the same thing, details that really speak to me, that make the piece feel special. As a designer, this is one of my favorite ways to add richness without adding visual noise. It's subtle, but once you notice it, you can't unsee it. As we focus more on materials and craftsmanship, fabric itself is stepping into a much bigger role. Trend number 5, fabric as a focal element. So, in 26, fabric is no longer just a finished layer. It becomes structural. So we're seeing bed canopies are returning, which is great, not in a traditional sense, but in a sort of modern fabric installation sense. Curtains used as room dividers, which I love, valances that frame windows with intention, drapery that defines zones with open spaces. And what I love about this trend is how it softens architecture. Fabric brings movement, warmth, and intimacy in a way hard materials just simply cannot. It also allows flexibility, so a space can transform throughout the day, open, closed, layered, and revealed. And in luxury design, this is about creating atmosphere, not just function. Trend number 6. I am obsessed with this one, which is the decorative wall murals. All right, let's talk about that. What do I mean? Decorative wall murals are having a major moment, and for good reason. They tell a story in a way that doesn't feel like a copy-paste. It feels like a beautiful story that envelops you in a room. In 26, people want their homes to feel transportive. So we're moving away from flat, one-note walls into spaces that create emotion, that move you through space and time, that create feeling the second you walk in. So decorative wall murals do exactly that. They add depth, perspective, and narrative in a way no paint color ever could. I'm also seeing a big shift in how murals are used. This isn't about covering every wall or making a bold statement for the sake of it. The most luxurious applications are restraint. So a single wall in a bedroom that feels like a window into another landscape. A dining room mural that creates intimacy and atmosphere rather than drama. Hallways and staircases that turn into moments of discovery. There's also a move away from overly graphic or trendy patterns and towards hand-rendered scenes, soft landscapes, architectural motifs, and painterly compositions. This is really a pushback to AI, where people want to see the imperfections in logos and in artwork and graphics, because then you know that it has the human touch. And the same thing is happening in interior design. From a designer's perspective, murals are incredibly powerful because they anchor a space emotionally, they create context, They really tell you how to experience a room. And that's exactly what drew me to working with Bellarte Studio. As you guys know, I have a huge collection of wallpaper, and we are going to do 2.0, and it's coming up in about 2 months. So I'm really excited to share that with you. But in the interim, we do have our French landscape, which has been selling gangbusters. When I tell you guys how much these wallpapers are selling, you're never going to believe it. And the reason is that they tell a story. It makes perfect sense. It brings softness, depth, but not too pretentious at the same time and not trendy. I'm going to drop a bunch of the examples of French landscape that have been used in many of people's projects and let you judge how great this wallpaper is. And the fact that it comes in several colors is also wonderful because then you can blend it to your home in the way that you like to see your colorway. So stay tuned for 2.0. All of these trends really connect to one bigger shift, and this is the one I told you to stay for. This is the final, most important trend of all, and that is comfort and long-term use as luxury. So let me explain. In 26, comfort and longevity are no longer behind the scenes considerations. They are part of the aesthetic itself. And just like, for example, the sweater that I'm wearing today, which by the way, I am obsessed with. It's cashmere, it's soft, the definition of it, the details of it, it's the same concept. So just like in fashion, where people are prioritizing pieces they can wear for years that are of quality, interiors are moving toward forever pieces. We are not going to be switching sofas and credenzas and coffee tables every year. It's ridiculous. We need to prioritize good quality and craftsmanship and heirloom quality pieces. And so people are really prioritizing furniture that gets better with age. That was really predominantly the reason why I did my furniture collection. I'm not even trying to shamelessly plug it here, but in all honesty, I wanted to make pieces that you could hand to your children and to your children's children. And since we're on that topic, I will do a shameless plug, but right here on the screen, you're going to see the collection, and the collection is expensive, I agree. But if you think about how many years these pieces will serve you and the longevity that they will have and the history that they will tell, then you'll understand what the price point is about. You will actually save money in the long term because of the fact that you will be using this for decades to come. So luxury is no longer about perfection. It's about how a space supports your life. And as a designer, this is the most exciting shift for me because when comfort, craftsmanship, and longevity are prioritized, trends stop feeling disposable. They start feeling meaningful. If you enjoyed this deep dive into 2026 design trends through a luxury lens, make sure to like and subscribe and share this with someone who loves design as much as you do. It always helps when people in our community share our content with those that they love and care about because it's coming from somebody that they trust. Thank you guys for being a wonderful and kind member of our community. If you have a particular trend that is resonating with you, I would love for you to comment. So since I respond to a lot of the comments, let me know if you have any questions. Let's start a chat together. And I can't wait to see you again next week on this channel, The Red Elevator.